Welcome back, guys. Grab a seat. We have a fun one today, a OU match. I'm rocking a fresh team: Landorus, Politoed, Magnezone, Weavile, Eldegoss, and Haxorus. My opponent has a very nice looking team over there: Ninetales, Alolan form, Dragapult, Bisharp, Rotom, Golurk, and Conkeldurr. Now, looking at my opponent's team, he doesn't have anybody to abuse the hail, so it's more likely a good team which is just supported by the Aurora Veil. So let's get straight into this battle. Always, guys, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, share your thoughts. Any feedback will be very helpful. So let's get into this one. I lead off with my Haxorus, as my opponent leads with Alolan Ninetales. Most likely I am expecting him to go for the Aurora Veil, so I decide to actually stay in, and I'm gonna go straight for the poison jab, trying to get some damage off on this thing before I decide to switch out. But as you will see here, my opponent decides to waste no time and go straight for the freeze dry and try to get my Haxorus out early. But luckily I survive with 11 HP, and the poison jab goes off and gets a clean one-hit KO. So that's early out. Ninetales is down. No more Aurora Veil for this team. He didn't even get a chance to set a reveal. So in comes his Conkeldurr now, and I know these things be packing that Mach Punch. I'm not going to stay in and let it Mach Punch me. I'm switching out straight into my Landorus. We'll drop his attack with the Intimidate and see what other moves this thing has. Hopefully he doesn't carry the Ice Punch, because Ice Punch could really ruin my day. So as predicted, he goes for the Mach Punch, which we soak up. We are running the bulky Landorus set, Defog. I think it's not quite max defense but max HP, and probably a little bit of speed just to outspeed things like non-invested Swampert or fully invested Swampert. Yeah, those kind of threats. So looking at his team, he's already one down, and I'ma just take my time and set up my rocks, and he can either go for the Ice Punch if he has it, which I hope he doesn't, or decide to switch out. We can see his guts Conkeldurr, and he switches out, and in comes his Rotom. These Rotoms could be so many different things. I am not very accustomed to seeing the Nasty Plot set. Usually when I see a Rotom, I just think Will-O-Wisp, Defog, that kind of set, because that's what I'm more accustomed to using. I should change my way of thinking. So yes, I don't want to sit in here and take a Will-O-Wisp to the face, so I decide I'ma just bring in the most useless person on my team right now, which will be my Rapid Spinner, the Eldegoss. Oh no quit, my bad. So I'll bring in my Eldegoss here and soak up a hit, or see what he decides to do. So in comes my Eldegoss, and my opponent will reveal that he is Nasty Plot. This thing is just looking extra scary now, because if he only carries the substitute, that's basically game over for me, because I cannot break the sub with Eldegoss, and if he goes sub, I have no choice but to give up somebody just to break the sub and then revenge kill it. So hopefully he doesn't have the sub. He goes for another Nasty Plot, while I go for a Sleep Powder here, hoping for it to connect, but it misses. At this point I'm thinking I need to get some glasses for this Eldegoss, because we can't be out here in these streets missing these Sleep Powders. So here we go for a Sleep Powder again, expecting it to kill us, as my opponent goes to the Overheat and takes us out. Sorry, but we had no chance there. So down goes the Eldegoss, and knowing that this thing cannot outspeed my Haxorus, I'll just bring Haxorus in right now and take a KO and get this thing out of here. So in comes my Haxie, my shiny Haxorus from Black and White. Yep, I keep all my Pokemon. I got Pokemon from Ruby and Sapphire and Fire Red. Yeah, that far back. So I go for the Earthquake and quickly dispatch this Rotom and take back my lead. Now score is now 5-4. So in comes his Bisharp. Originally I was thinking to switch to Landorus now, but then these things usually carry the Defiant ability, and that would be a grave mistake to switch into Landorus. I don't want to go hard into Magnezone because he could predict my switch and go for the knockoff. But as we see here, my opponent ain't making no jokes and he goes straight for the Sucker Punch and takes my Haxorus out and evens out the score once again. So now I can bring in my Magnezone free of cost. This thing has no way of killing me with one hit because it didn't even get off a Swords Dance. That's what I was fearing the most, that this thing Swords Dance on the switch. That's why I didn't switch out. So he goes for the knockoff, takes off my Assault Vest as I go for the Body Press, which takes this thing out and gives me back the lead once again. Bisharp can be very menacing, so you have to be very careful when playing around them. In comes Conkeldurr again, and as from earlier we know that he doesn't have the Ice Punch, so we'll switch hard into Landorus here and soak up another hit. I know if my opponent only had the Ice Punch, this thing would be able to rip out big hole through my team. But as we see, he doesn't. He goes for the Drain Punch, takes back a small chunk of HP, just a little bit more than his burn damage at the end of the turn. Landorus soaks that up very well. Nom nom nom, have a bite of his leftovers. I could probably U-turn here, but then again, looking at his team, anything that he comes in will take a decent chunk of damage from Earthquake. So let's go for the Earthquake and see what my opponent decides to do. So my opponent withdraws, in comes the Golurk, and this thing will not take kindly to this Earthquake damage. This will chunk it. Should take a good chunk, and as we see, it does about 50%. So that's a nice chunk of damage there. I do not want to take the chance that this thing is Choice Scarf, because you could carry the Ice Punch, it could also carry Poltergeist, a whole myriad of moves, especially with the No Guard ability, so everything it goes for will hit. So I'm a hard switch here and sack off my Magnezone, because looking at the teams, Magnezone is the least valuable right now. So we'll switch and sack off Magnezone and see what moves he decides to go for. So he goes to the Stone Edge, which is resisted, but looking at that damage, we cannot take 2. So he most likely will have us on the second turn. But lucky for me, my opponent switches out, in comes Dragapult, and this thing will not take kindly to an Analytic Flash Cannon. So let's see how much damage we get off here. And that's a clean, that's a clean bit of damage here. That's probably 90-95%. And he revenge kills me with the Flamethrower, and that's it for my Magnezone. Magnezone put in some work, and thank you for coming through for us. So here now I can go into my Politoed, set up the rain. I have a feeling that this thing is Spexed. So Specs Dragapult, he can't switch out because rocks will kill him on the way in, so he has no choice but to stay in and just go for another Flamethrower, which we see he does, which will do nothing to me because World Boss. So I go for the Weather Ball and take this thing out, and here begins the cleanup operation. Politoed will lead this cleanup operation and finish this thing off. The only choice he has here now is Mach Punch me, because I'm definitely faster than him. I'm max special attack with max speed investment, so this thing cannot outspeed me. And Weather Ball will definitely, Specs Weather Ball will definitely take that out. So Politoed picks up another KO again. That makes 2 for 2. And in comes Golurk. And there again, unless this thing is scarfed, I'll run rings around it. And here, as we see, it's not scarfed. And this takes the Specs Weather Ball to the face. And that's it. That's the game. I must say, it was a very fast-paced, action-filled match. Good game to my opponent. I hope to have a rematch with this man again. But until then, guys, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and stay frosty, man. Stay frosty. Later.